it's Kelly from Under a Texas Sky, and I have actually gotten a request from someone to do a tutorial on how I use my Silhouette machine to cut out vinyl to put on a sign. Now, if y'all know me, I usually do wreaths and tutorials on wreaths and things like that, and I'm kind of branching out a little bit, showing you how I've done some refinishing on furniture and painting. And one of the new things that I've done that I've really enjoyed is doing painted signs, meaning the board is painted and then I put my vinyl on top of that, the vinyl wording that I find on top of that or that I create. Today I'm going to be using this board. This is a board that was just left over from some of the renovation that we're doing on our Victorian farmhouse that was built in 1901, which has really been kicking our butts. But we've got a board and batten wall that we've done downstairs, and this was part of the underlayment, and there was lots of it left. So I've just cut lots of different lengths to make signs, and on this I stained the board, and then I painted chalk paint on it, and then I distressed by sanding the edges and so forth. I do have a video tutorial on that. I'll link. And I also have just a straight instructional tutorial on underatexassky.com, which there should be a little letter I up here in the corner. Just click that and it'll take you to underatexassky.com, which is my blog, and there's a whole slew of different kinds of things that are going on there, including the renovation of our Victorian farmhouse, showing you everything that we've done so far and all of the nightmares that we've countered and such as that. So check that out if you're interested in that. But to get to the tutorial on how I cut my vinyl with my Silhouette, I do not proclaim to be some kind of an expert when it comes to cutting vinyl. I am very basic. I use my Silhouette Cameo in the most basic way possible. I cut letters out for signs out of vinyl. Sometimes I use it to cut greeting cards and embellishments for greeting cards, and that's about it. I don't upload images. I don't use the registry. I don't, you know, if you're interested in that, I'm sure there's some really good videos out there that'll show you how to do that. But today I'm just going to show you just simply how I use my Silhouette to cut my vinyl. And I'm filming this today without the help of the mean man. He's busy working, and so if there's anything awkward that happens, I apologize. It's just the way that it works. Y'all follow me know that I just say I'm the master of winging it, and I'm just going to wing it today and show you how I do what I do. So I'm going to go ahead and get on the other side of the camera, show you my screen, and then we'll get started. Okay, so I'm doing this Life is Better on the Front Porch cutout, and what I did was, you know, I took the measurement of my board, which is basically 7 inches by 24 inches long, and 7 inches deep or high, and by 24 inches long, and then, you know, just briefly, the way I got this saying, you know, all together is in my library. I actually have a design, and so what I want to do is just show you what that looked like. The first thing I did was I found this Life is Better on the Porch little design that I already bought. So I took that, I double clicked it, and it came into my design. And then, I mean, and you can see pieces right here of the design. I broke that apart simply by just highlighting it. You know, let's just say it was this, highlighting it, and then your little group and ungroup buttons up here. I ungrouped it, and then I took out the things, well, I didn't mean to do that. I took out the things that I didn't want and kind of moved them to the sides. Left what I did want, which was just the life, actually, in these two little leaf vines. And then I used the text tool just to add the text, is better on them. That's just Times New Roman. And then Front Porch, this is a font that I actually purchased from Silhouette. And when you're working with Silhouette, I'm sure that you know I'm in the design studio. That's how you get your Silhouette to work. And the store button is right there. You go to the store. I actually purchased that font from the store button. And so I was ready to, you know, print it out and see how it turned out. It was exactly what I was looking for. So here is my whole element that I'm going to put on there, and I want to be sure that it's the right size. So I just clicked and dragged across the whole thing, and it goes from edge to edge and basically top to bottom. And I can see that it's 6.284 inches tall and 20.360 inches wide. So I've got a 24-inch board. I know it'll fit that. And then it's a little over 7 inches this way. So I know that it's going to fit. So that is the first thing I do. So I've gotten, you know, everything that I want, and I'm getting ready to send it to the printer, or to the cutter, to the Cameo. So I'm going to click send, and then I'm going to reach over here and turn on my Silhouette because I hadn't had it on yet. And you can see that it outlines in dark red everything that's going to cut. So you've got this dark red. I know exactly where the cuts are going to be. And then I want to tell it what kind of vinyl I'm using. So I'm going to try to zoom in over here so y'all can see. Zooming in. Okay. Whoops, this way. Okay. So I'm going to be using a glossy vinyl. So I'm going to come down here to where it says vinyl glossy, and I'm going to click that so it knows what I'm using. And it has some presets already. You know, it'll tell you, I mean, it tells you the speed and everything, what you need to have your blade on. And so I do have it on the 1, because any more than that, it would cut through the vinyl, and then your letters would be cut out, but not your vinyl. You'd actually be cutting the entire letters out. Speed is fine. That's how it sets it, and I've never changed that. That works fine for me. And but on the force, I changed the force to 11. This is just how I do it. Other people may disagree. Other people think there may be a better way. This works for me, and so this is why I set it the way I set it, because it actually does work for me. Now I want to show you. Here's my Silhouette down here. Sorry, the camera just said you're panning too fast. Here's my Silhouette, and I was just going to talk you through a couple of the elements that I have working here. I have this tray, and I load my vinyl into this tray. This keeps kind of a continuous feed through, and it keeps it from, you know, becoming a mess behind it. It doesn't unravel all across the desk and everything. And so that's why I really like that. I've ordered this off of Amazon, and it works great. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to get a different angle. Just hold on just a second. I'm going to reposition the camera. Okay, I'm going to show you how I load the vinyl into the machine. And to me, this is the hardest part. This is the most frustrating part for me. I've made sure my tab over here is down, so the bar came up just a little bit. Now, you're going to see, because this has been rolled up for so long, it tends to want to stay rolled up. So even getting it through here can be a bit of a challenge. A lot of times I'll just take, these are just tweezers that I have, and I'll just kind of get it past this first little hitch here where it will come on through. I'm going to run my finger all the way down. Come on now. Okay. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to line your vinyl up after you get it through. I'm sorry about that little glitch we had. My card was full on my video camera, sorry. And you're going to line up to these arrows that are right here, and that's going to show you how your vinyl is supposed to go in. And then again, once you know your vinyl's been curled up for so long, if I were to just put this in here, and you can also see that it's not cut straight across. If I were to lock it down and push it and go ahead and load it up and let it come through, it's probably going to curl under here, and it's going to make a terrible noise, and it's not going to be loaded. So I've just found this little trick. You can use it if you want to. It may sound crazy, but I take the mat, you know, just your regular Silhouette cutting mat, and I slip it through the back, just like, you know, this is where it comes out, and I'm kind of reversing this. So I slip it through the back, and you can see it comes through. I line my vinyl up, and I put it up against the mat, and this way, boy, that is really off. I don't know. I hope it's going to load right. You're gonna see how my cut is not straight. So I'm hitting my tabs on this side, but I'm not hitting them down here. We're going to just see if we can still load it this way. Because I've got the mat, it's going to help pull this through. And so I'm sure you can't see over here, but you know how your Silhouette works. You've got your load and unload. I'm going to go ahead, my arrow is on load, and I'm going to press load. And I made sure I've got this locked down. See, it barely moves, but it's locked down. And I'm going to hit load. Let's see what happens. Okay, you can see it's gone through. And I still have the cutting mat back here. And what's going to happen is when I, you know, push send to go to the cutter, the cutting mat's going to keep it from curling under. Then when it comes out far enough, the cutting mat's just going to break away. And that's going to be great. Now what I need, Mean Man, since you're over there, if you could go ahead and click on send over there on the Silhouette, the bottom right-hand corner. There we go, hit send. And let's just see what happens. See how the cutting mat is let go. And then it starts its cuts. Be sure your blades are sharp. If you have done a ton of cutting, that adhesive gets on that blade and it makes it where it doesn't cut as well. Plus, like any blade, with use, it dulls. So just be sure your blade is sharp. You know, if you find that things aren't cutting through, don't automatically think your settings are wrong. It could just be that your blade is not sharp enough. And always keep a good handful of blades on hand in case you need to change them, because it'll be real frustrating if you need to change it and you don't have a blade. And then this just does its thing. I'm going to let it keep cutting. Then you don't have to watch the whole thing cut. I'm going to go ahead and pause just for a minute, and then when I come back, you'll see, we'll weed the vinyl and you'll see how everything came out. Okay, so my entire saying has been cut, and then I'm just going to click here to unload, but I'm going to hold on kind of lightly between my fingers here because I'm going to show you how you can cut this, and it's really cool. So I'm going to hit this to unload, and it unloaded. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this back through until I get to the end of my saying, which this is always a little bit tricky. There's nothing worse than accidentally cutting off the end of your cut of your vinyl sign. And I've done it and it's heartbreaking. So I think I'm to the end, and I'm going to show you the neat thing about this cutting tray, or this roller tray, is it has this little nifty cutting tool, and there's a little groove here that it fits into. So once I'm sure I'm clear of that groove, I'm going to hold pretty tight so it doesn't slip out as I'm cutting. And then this just fits in there, and it just runs down kind of like a letter opener. And you see how that sprung back really fast, and then it just goes right here in this little holder. And so I've got my vinyl, and I'm seeing a couple, see there's a couple of white places. This may not have been the best font to use to cut. This particular font has two settings. One is where the font is just the letters, and then the other one is a font where there's a little decorative swirl around the letters, and that's what I did. But the details were so fine, it looks like a couple of them pulled away as it was cutting. It's not going to be any big deal, but be aware of that too when you make your design. How is it going to come out when you want to do your weeding? Okay, I'm going to show you how to weed your vinyl cuts. This is a pretty long cut, and so it can get kind of dicey where your vinyl sticks upon itself and you know, doesn't quite want to let go. It can be a little frustrating, but just kind of try to hang on and see how it goes. And then this, like I said, this particular cut has got some really intricate pieces to it, and I just don't know how it's going to come out. See, I'm kind of lifting with my finger. I'm helping it to let go of what it needs to let go of. I'm going to do the same down here. And like I said, I've never used this font before, and so it could get a little dicey when I'm trying to get it weeded out. Hopefully not. You see how it's real sticky. It stuck to my finger there. But it's still, that one was not too terribly bad. But I've got a lot of intricate things in here, and so you can see how it could be a little difficult. The little in-betweens. I'm going to go ahead and kind of fold that over as I'm coming up. You know, that P from Porch has some pretty intricate little curly cues in there. But my blades seem to be doing okay, so. And see, this is all coming off in one piece, and it's leaving these little tinies. Ooh, that's pretty. I don't know if it's going to do it everywhere. Doesn't look like it. Looks like I peeled up some here. Like I said, no panicking. It's all fine. Yeah, it looks like the little extras on here, they don't really seem to have come out all that great. The little extra cuts, which is okay. You know, we'll survive. That's one of the main things, though, is you just cannot get frustrated. Just take your time, you know, ease out the vinyl as you can. Just ease it out. See, this F has got some of those curlies and things like that. Hallelujah, I got the letters done, and you can see how this is rolling back up. And, which can be, you know, kind of frustrating. I had a little weight on one end when I started because it was going to roll up. But, come on now and see that we've got a little problem happening here. Okay, this is good for y'all to see. It stuck back to the vinyl that I had going, and so I lost a little bit of the end, which it's not the end of the world. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. But you can see here how it turned out. Go ahead and weight that down. And then for your weeding, Silhouette comes with a couple of tools. There's this hook, and then there's the paddle. I know this Life has some little things in the middle here, and you just got to be a little bit careful. I kind of just stick it to that, and then usually I have a place to stick everything. Most of the time it's usually on my workspace, which is okay, which works just fine, because it doesn't stick permanently for a little while. So, and I am using permanent vinyl. This is not Silhouette vinyl. This is Oracle 651 vinyl, which is a really good permanent vinyl. I do recommend it, but you see how I've just weeded that out, and then and I'm just using the paddle. The paddle works fine. Sometimes I get the hook in there, depends on how intricate it is. I try to get on the edge and lift up, and then I try to stick it to the paddle. Sometimes what will happen when you're weeding, you'll get your whatever you're weeding out, and then it moves over and then sticks to the vinyl that you need, just like that. See how that just did like that? And that's really frustrating, but then, you know, just do your best to grab it, move it out of the way. Again, when I do this, I try to come up to the edge, but you got to be careful. Sometimes you can, you know, get the letter that you want to stay down, and you know, I've gouged letters before too. The main thing, though, really is just being patient and working through everything that you need to work through. Now, see, this has this extra little curly cue in here, and I don't know how well it's going to stick when I pull this out. See, it pulled out with it. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to fret over it. I'm absolutely just not going to fret over it. It would be awesome if you know, if I could have gotten it to stay, did the same thing here. I still like the way the font looks. I still think it looks pretty. It's still going to work. But like I said, it just is pretty. It's a pretty tight little, you know, font extra. And so anyway, so this is the weeding, and you can see it really doesn't take any time at all to weed things out. You know, you just have to be patient, get that corner, that edge, and that's it. I've got it all weeded and it's ready to go on my board. I'm not going to show you how I put it on my board. Yeah, I'm not going to show y'all how to put it on the board because I've got videos showing you how to attach vinyl to your the sign or whatever you're working with. I will link those here at the end of the video. One thing I don't like about how YouTube does things is I can't just automatically link things all the way through. You have to add these things at the end, which I'm going to do, so stick around to the end so you can get the links to how to get your vinyl on your sign. I'll put a link where you can see the distressed sanded side sign, how I did that. I'll get that up there for you too. I mostly want to say how much I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this answers your questions. Again, I just put this on the preset that comes with your Silhouette that says your blade's on a 1, your speed is 5. I changed the force to 11. That's the only thing I do different. It works out really well for me. And so hopefully it's going to work out well for y'all too. On UnderTexasSky.com, under wood signs, I do have a whole tab for wood signs. If you'll open that, there'll be links at the bottom, and I'll go ahead and try to work links into those posts that'll link you to Amazon, and you can see what I'm using, and you can, you know, click there and it'll take you straight to it. It might be a little bit more helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it answered your questions, and I hope you join me next time when I don't know what I'll be doing, but I assure you it'll be fun and it'll be easy, and I think that you'll love to do it, whatever it is. I appreciate you guys. Many blessings to you, and I'll see you next time.